first, we'll have to create a new repository, keeping with our Marine team or Black Sea team, more or less. We'll create now a new repository called Pantas, and this will be a very basic code that enables us to start up or tear down the whole infrastructure, and I mean not apps and so on, but their actual server provisioning and so on. So let's quickly do that. So we have a name already, which I selected. Infrastructure repository for project for the Euxine data platform. Yeah, it is public. I mean, I'm not quite sure what kind of GitIgnore we need for the tools, but I'm now sure about the license. So let's patch it to. Let's create it. And here we go. So now a project. I think I should create a separate project folder for Euxine because we already have 3 repositories, but let me just clone it. We'll take care of this later. So I want to, of course, use our SSH key that we used. So shouldn't borrow any such operations like pushing, pulling, and so on. And that should work without a hitch. Let's see. Yep, that's the case. Yeah, we can already create a new project here. So let's say Euxine is there. I mean, it's our design that we just use VMs and simple networking, but of course I'll have to use a floating IP, which will keep it constant. And right now I'll have to ask the AI quite a lot about provisioning everything. So let's start by doing that. And I just want to go to, oh, yeah, I probably should have renamed it, but doesn't matter. I have to rename some of the repos at some point. I would like to, so this is my infrastructure repository for provisioning my cloud structure for like VMs, networking, etc. System form, etc. for my Euxine data platform. Have already agreed to use OpenTofu, which I have. I mean, it's just a declarative language for provisioning infrastructure. I mean, for Kubernetes, I guess we'll use ArgoCD and K3s. It's a very good combination. I think it's sufficient for us. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we have nothing right now. And yeah, we need quite a lot. So cloud provider is Hetzner, but we should keep our code modular enough to be able to add more providers in the future. Cluster topology. Well, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to go to the HA right now. This makes sense only if we really build a production system. So for this tutorial, I don't think I'll be able to do that right now. We can do that later for now. A single control plane plus n workers. We will start with a single VM for the cluster, and we'll test how to provision more VMs. So yeah, I mean, it should be auto-scalable, but for me, the most important thing is to really be able to start and stop everything quickly. Yeah, so it is a CPX42. Okay, let's use CPX42 as a starter. I mean, in general, of course, we should be able to reshape it later, but 16 gigs is actually quite important. I think I have just 8 or something. It's really not enough. So we have to really get something, but also it's not going to run the whole time, so it's still fine. Networking, private network between nodes, all balancer and front. I mean, in general, yes, but actually not necessary for now, since we are going to run most of the time on a single VM. It should simplify as much as possible. Just need a floating IP, fixed IP to can set up my domain to point to the server. And that's in fact extremely important with this, because we just had provisioned one VM, which we know will run for a long time. Of course, I need to restart in a few months, but since we're going to tear it up quite frequently, we definitely need this. Cannot do a DNS propagation every time we do something. We can clarify details later. Persistent storage. Yes, we will use Hetzner volumes. 5 DNS. Do you need DNS records managed? Okay, I'll do this manually for now. We can decide later if we can automate it. We'll manage DNS records manually for now. State backend. It's a big question. I think I'll do local first. Of course, for more professional, maybe we have to use some kind of cloud storage, but yeah, I mean, all these things can be tweaked later. Just wanted to start as quickly as possible. I wouldn't even need to do infrastructure as a code in general, but that will make it a lot easier for me. So let's go. I will use local store for now. Existing conventions. We have preferences or variable organization. I like to use a common standard convention, since not familiar with this kind of projects. All right, I think it should understand it somewhat, and we need to clarify some questions right now. I'll be amazed if we can get it running up quickly. Okay, so it's a good, yeah, I think I'll use the Falkenstein, because Falkenstein is the most advanced one. It's their first data center. Nuremberg, I don't know. How do you want to handle SSH key provisioning? Not even sure how Hetzner handles it. We'll see. I hope. What size Hetzner one do you want to start with? Let's start with minimal. I don't think we need that much until we start generating synthetic data later on. I have to ask it a little bit about how the CLI works. I mean, but it looks kind of straightforward. There is one concern. I'm not quite sure how well Terraform works with Hetzner, but by now they should be quite famous. Started first learning about them and using them in 21 maybe, although I know about Hetzner from 2019. We used some single VMs, but we had a project in 21 similar to this one, but with very different stack, where we provisioned actually a multi-cloud environment. So let's see how this works now. Here is a summary of what was created. Server name, server type, and so on. Floating IP. Well, this is something that, yeah, we'll need to now figure out. We have to start doing a few churner commands to figure out how this works. And here, of course, we start with this, brew install OpenTofu, which will trigger quite a lot of updates, I guess, like always. Okay, it's already loading. Now I have to adjust this example. So here I need some guidance, and we'll see how this works. I mean, it feels easier than it should be, so let's see. Okay, I already have the command. Did it install it? I'm not gonna pollute the cloud code for me. I'll start helper session. Maybe it can find out. And the interesting thing is with cloud code, you can actually run commands automatically, so I don't even need to check it myself. Oh, okay, so the command is different. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a tool that you use a lot. Okay, let's just quit it. And let's see what we can do. Okay, so brew install OpenTofu. And we have an example. And let's check it out. Cloud token. Okay, so I want you to guide me through figuring out these configs. Oh, and let me just copy this first before I forget. So it just needs, okay, so it's dot example. I mean, that's like a common pattern. Just an example, which we'll actually have to activate by removing the example part. Terraform. Probably talking to myself here. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this really, I like it. It seems a lot easier than I thought. Let's find Emacs. Okay, good. Finally, what we have. This runs once the VM first boots. Okay, so it gets copied inside the VM then. Hetzner assigned the sorting, but the VM didn't the approach write files. Now, text, this is the full picture. We have it, okay, API token. I think I have one, but probably I'll need to generate one more. Yeah, okay, let me check about the SSH. I'm really not sure about that one. Yeah, okay, that's just UI configs. Probably need to search. Oh, damn it. Yeah, project created, but Object storage, security, maybe this here. API tokens. Oh, that's good. SSH keys. Wow, I don't have SSH keys. Okay, that's weird. But I should have one. I guess I'll use the same that we generated for GitHub. Okay, yeah. Let's get this one. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be a problem. No, it is. What I could actually do. Let's do it like that. I'm not going to put it as a default just in case, although I don't seem to have an OR key, which is weird because probably puts the SSH keys on the machine directly. But no. Permissions, read and write. Well, yeah, need to start stuff. Copy. Oh yeah, I mean I would usually put this into my Bitwarden, but right now that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, I'll put it in directly in this config. Oh, no, that's the API key. The SSH key name is Euxine data with flag star. So just to remember on which machine it is. Okay, that's fine. Let me ask it, since this file contains the API key, should I chmod? So if you don't know, like this is the Unix type, this will tell it to have only read permissions by the user. I'm not going to be able to edit it until I chmod it for like 600. So this is mostly if somebody logs in without my account, they won't be able to see that, but it's a bit paranoid, but who knows? Maybe it's too much. I mean, at least I should, on the user should be able to see, not the group and public. Not necessary. Already prevents it from being committed. That's a different problem, though. What I'm gonna do is, it's a bit of overkill, but yeah. So let's do it like this. I don't think it needs to be an executable, but I mean, at least it's only accessible to me. Let's continue. Tofu installed and the name of the SSH key. Yeah, I think I created this already. And added the API key and the SSH key name. Config should be complete. Oh, it already jumps to starting it. Oh, that's a bit rash, I would say, but let's see. There is an issue. It installed HashiCorp as a second provider. Okay, I don't understand what it means. Okay, we'll fix it. I'm really wondering. So, okay, so I think I'll need to explain a bit more. Let me explain my requirements in more detail. First, I want to be able to start and tear down the VMs contain it time. K-trace infra and ArgoCD infra on top. Also install automatically and everything works. I don't know if we do it here or in a separate next step. Okay. I want to create routing IP, but it should not be torn down because I'll put my DNS record point to it. The persistent volume also obviously also needs to main. So what are we doing here exactly? Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention. I want also to be able to start VMs or clusters of different sizes when I start them. So how can we do these things? Yeah, I'm really not sure in which layer the software installs will happen, because we have to install Kubernetes, we have to install ArgoCD, have to install probably automatically, of course, some of the basic components like the database server and so on. So I'm not quite sure what exactly where we are. Yeah, okay, so it didn't consider this, so we have to do it now. Yeah, cloud-init, yeah. Okay, so yeah, so it says that current design has everything in a single state, yeah. Let's see, maybe before we do anything, hope it didn't already start anything. Yeah, okay, we're just developing. Okay, probably should have seen why it's requesting this, but let's see. So persistent and TOEFL apply. Okay, let's see. This should create the floating IP. And let's not get distracted here. In fact, probably I should split the screen. Let's go here. And okay, we need to go to the project first. We'll go to AMS, dev, persistent, and let's check what we have. Okay, so this is the infrastructure configuration. Obviously, it failed everything for us, and I'm not. Whole point is to trust it at some point. You want to perform these actions. Oh, yes. One good thing about Hetzner also is, in my experience, they have an extremely fast boot up time. So their VMs are really fast to start. Okay, so we created the volume apparently. Let's check on the console here. Yeah, that was the volume. Okay, now next, we need to go to cluster. Oh, and just probably I should show you. We have cluster and persistent, nothing more. So TOEFL apply seems to be the magic word. And it failed. Yeah, I haven't seen any floating IP. I mean, here I don't have to explain what happened. It's obviously an error. It's magic. This is likely a temporary capacity issue. What the heck? That's strange. Okay, let's try changing the location. Maybe I was wrong in my assumption that this one would be more available. And like I said, since it doesn't matter, we can even put it in Helsinki, who knows. Interestingly enough, it said the IP is, oh, I maybe did not see this, but and these are exactly the persistent features we need. We need to destroy and recreate them, sure. Change the floating, yeah. Maybe I should choose Helsinki for after all. So let's go to persistent. At least we'll see how the destroy works. And that is very dangerous if we have a production system already. Let's see. Okay, got deleted. Perfect. Please update the location yourself. It's really funny when it tells me what to do. What's the point of having an agent? But together we work quite well so far. Probably can check. Yeah. I mean, I could have just substituted here, but okay, I think I didn't understand what I wanted from it. Okay, does it now? Okay, it will even start the resources again. That's actually nice. Thing is that every second that you can save, I mean, we are really used to doing stuff ourselves, like running commands, writing the code, testing, and so on. I mean, each second adds up. It makes it extremely quick. Problem is, I'm not quite sure how to guide it successfully in all cases. Yeah. Let's see what happened now. Should have a server as well. Yeah, sure. One volume, one floating IP, one server. Okay, so it's provisioned. But this is how you start clusters. Guess I'll have to save all this. Okay, let me show. I hope it has a git ignore. Doesn't have git ignore. Okay, let's tell it to do that. And this is a repository. We need to ignore unnecessary files so I can commit our code. That should be pretty simple. Request. Okay, cool. First. And it looks like it's extremely simple to do that because, I mean, this tofu simply, since it's declarative, it just needs configuration. And the agent should be able to do it. In our case, we don't have much infrastructure, but I can understand that it can become quite difficult when it becomes production. We should have different systems, environments, and so on. But right now, for our case, I don't think we need that much. We are also more focused on the application level more than this infrastructure stuff. So let's see what's next. Maybe what I can do is let me try the tear down, and I should probably get some idea how much the block storage costs. Let me see if we can see it on the objects. Well, don't have information about that. I should go later to the whole. We'll make a detailed cost breakdown once we have everything in place. Two primary IPs. Okay, guess that's because of the floating IP. Let's see what happens when we destroy this. Yes. I mean, in any case, all our information should be persistent, and in the block storage and the volume, the persistent volume, everything else is more or less compute. And that compute should be really, really easy to spawn, basically. Let's go back to the agent. 3 resources deleted. Which ones? I guess this. The server and its IPs, most likely, yeah? Yep, exactly. So let's create it, or should we even recreate it? I mean, we want actually to continue developing the code first. So I'm able to spin up my VMs and tear them down. Now we need to deal with Kubernetes next. And that's the interesting stuff, because you might need to reorganize the repository a bit, because I don't want to have a separate repo for Kubernetes. I mean, we'll have to have an infrastructure repository separate from the application one, but I don't want to have 2 different repositories. Okay, let's brainstorm how we can put up cluster directly. And of course, it would be amazing if we could boot up like multiple VMs. I think we'll prepare for that. Maybe we can parameterize it for how many nodes we start in the cluster, but let's see. Right now, the cloud-init installs Kubernetes in server mode on the single VM. Well, I didn't even log into the server yet. Maybe I should check what happened first. Multi-node. Something else entirely. Well, actually, that's number 2. I want to verify everything works correctly. So it is 2. And the cool thing is this agent can actually verify it for me. I tore down the cluster. So yeah, it should probably, yeah, please do everything for me and ask me questions. You are stuck or need some information from me. Show me what you find out. Let's see if this works. That's a bit too automated, but hopefully we can actually figure out, or it will figure out what happens. Okay, they told you it's very quick. Oh, a few minutes. I'm not sure about a few minutes. It should actually work much quicker. Let's see if this guy is intelligent enough to fix it. Yeah, that could be a somewhat annoying for us. because we'll have probably to start different servers but for the same IP. Everything is running correctly. Yeah, I think I'll need now to go and set up the subdomain for this. I wonder what, yeah, I guess I'll just go with Pontus. All right, so I need to set up my DNS for Pontus, wait, Pontus.euxine.eu. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure we need that right now, but maybe it's not a bad idea. Let's do it. And here we go. So it's an A record, so we just put the floating IP address, which is great. And I would say I'll reserve the app.euxine.eu for our actual application, but I'm honestly not quite sure what is the need for this extra subdomain, but let's see. Maybe we can use it for testing. If we don't need it later, we can always reassign or delete. The floating IP remains the same anyways. So let's ping it. Yeah, it will need some time to propagate, I guess. So before we do that, let me go into the server. I want to check one thing. And it should also quickly explain to me what is going on. Yeah. Oh, that's actually okay. So just for SSHing, that's already quite a convenient thing. Although I'm pretty sure we'll have the app pointing to the same subdomain. So let me add that one as well. We'll have to use it anyways. Yeah, I think an app dot would be sufficient. I don't need the other one. That's our entry point. Unless if I wanted to split them so it's not exposed and we have only 80/3 open, I could probably split it for that reason, but right now I think it's necessary. I don't think it's such a big security problem to have 22 open. So, okay, so actually I decided on app.euxine.eu since we are going to use it for our. And in fact, what I'm doing right now makes absolutely no sense, explaining to the AI what I'm doing, because it will get lost anyway, unless we continue the session. Let's see. I'm just giving it some context because it might need to correct some configs indeed. So now while we, and if it was a CNAME record like we did on GitHub for, I'm not sure if I showed you that, but it's a quick way to propagate. But if we have an A record, I mean, that takes some time. If I let here a ping running, yeah, you see it's not even resolving. Yeah, I hope I did it correctly, but if not, we'll go back and fix something. I see when I open the DNS settings, should be open. I'll wait for DNS propagation. Want you to walk me to the repository step by step and explain the code very concisely. Oh man, I'm starting to get the feeling that we're not gonna spell very well with the AI age because they understand anyway. Let me see. Maybe we'll temper it a bit, but okay. Now, yeah, we already know that the difference between the environments, persistent and cluster, it's obviously the different kind of resources. Floating IP, and we already checked that. So yeah, that we know. They stay alive even when we destroy the VM. But of course, we have to go to another folder. If we did the tofu destroy, we'll destroy them. I mean, we don't want that. In fact, we should somehow make some kind of prevention mechanism. They still ask you, of course. That's where our data will be stored. We will later add some block storage as well, but probably also in the persistent. For now, for me, it's important to have the Postgre running, and it should use the persistent storage. All right, so let's go further. Floating point assignment, volume attachment. Yeah. Well, this only explains, okay, the cloud-init point. Okay, so this is actually where the whole thing happens. Because just booting up the servers, it's not really interesting, I think. Cloud-init step is where Kubernetes and ArgoCD get installed and where and define more tools to be installed, right? Yeah. And where are these cloud init configs? Now repo. And I hope we have also some in the cluster part. Interesting. Packages. Okay, so it installs curl and JQ. Okay, that's cool. Right, files. Yeah, it seems to really be the system configuration here. Yeah, kube control is there, ArgoCD is there. Runs command and run CMD. Okay, so this is basically what happens on system boot up. That's interesting. Now I want to ask it another question. Can I trigger an install a new tool while the cluster is still running? Okay. And that's a bit lame, but I guess we're not going to add tools all the time. Also, the whole point is that we can easily just reboot it if we wanted to. Okay, so please think through what we need for a fully fledged application with multiple components. I think, for instance, for example, do we need to install anything to be able to get let's encrypt certificates? that's also one interesting thing. I don't want it to generate certificate each time, but I think we can just store them in the persistent volume. Actually, that shouldn't be a big deal. I think I booted up my system once. There was no problem at all. Most services will be localized, like Redis, Postgre. What else? Nginx, yeah. Okay, cert manager for sure. Yeah, that's a good point. And it's good that it's in place because that's where we'll mount our applications. That's actually it. Okay, cool. Probably if we do a lot here, I might need to pivot to GitHub, but I hope they have a generous free tier as well. So do you have a container register in mind? Yeah, of course it will have. I think that I will use the GitHub container registry if it is included in the free tier. Otherwise, GitLab, which I know how to use already. Yes, Postgres will be storing its database in the persistent volume. I already have set up in another install and expect to not lose my data. I don't know if we should plan this. Maybe it should think a little bit about it. I use the plan mode quite frequently, actually. We are container public and private. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, of course they're public. We are doing an open source development. That's great. But even the other kind is fine. I mean, for my private app, it's still working. There's some limits, of course, but let me see. So one very useful tool I find is this K9S, which you can use to basically it has a text UI to go into different pods and check the logs and so on. You need to do that, and just typing such huge commands is very annoying. Although we could maybe ask Cloud to do that on the server. That's also a very good use case, and one of the cool things about Cloud being a CLI. You can actually go into the infrastructure immediately and do things, check things for you. It's crazy, man. Let's see. What email address should be used? Well, yeah, we can add it as a variable, but I already have it. And that's the Euxine thing. Okay, I'm not sure what all this is about, but I'll ask it afterwards. And I guess we probably can put the configuration variables here in the end. So if we manage to tear down the server and just start it up with all the applications and everything running and all the data still there, I mean, that will be a major win. But we can only test it after we are done here. Not here, but after we have some apps already running, or at least infrastructure. It's still quite early for this, but that's our whole goal, actually. I don't want to let it run overnight. I'll have to stop the servers immediately. Yeah, as I expected, which is good. Let me go and update. So, and I'm so annoyed about this backup files. Might use Nano instead of Emacs. Yeah, you can contact me at that email if you don't spam me. And just double check here. Yeah. Yeah, sure. I don't want to do that right now. Yeah, it's correct. And let me just ping the app. I think I did something wrong there. Let's see. I added the email. And probably just to be sure, let me see. Okay, yeah, of course we have it. That's annoying. I have to do this in two steps. That's bullshit. And the backup files, I don't know if it belongs. Hopefully you put it in gitignore, but oh, it already started doing the cluster. Huh. Yeah, that's amazing how sophisticated it gets now with running commands. I mean, at least now you don't have to remember all the weird parameters and obscure usage pattern. Okay, so it looks like something is going on here. Okay, interesting. How do I make this ArgoCD? Yeah, I wanted to add this additional tool as a API. Yeah, I think we're almost ready to get into the weeds of this. I have to really do one tear down to make sure everything works. Need two things, the URL and the admin password. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I forgot to do here. And let's do this stuff. I mean, it's not fun to do infrastructure, but it's important, and I hope we do it correctly. After that, we'll spend a lot more time on building, of course. But let me save this. It says it's modified. I didn't see any propagation yet, but yeah, I don't know. Do we have the app already? Okay, that's annoying. Wait. Yeah, of course, we'll go to second. That's what we want to do. Yeah, of course. Okay, that's good. It shouldn't be accessible from outside. Option one. Okay, I mean, at least we can verify if it works. So this is just because it's not exposed to the public, we can do a port forwarding here. Make sure that at least it works and it's running. Since our subdomain is not set up yet, cannot do much right now. I mean, I think we have to wait. Anyway, this recording is getting quite long, so I think I'll probably stop once I'm sure. Maybe I'll tear it down one time. Once we're sure everything is correct, after that, we'll probably stop. But let me go here. I'll open a new, or maybe why not here? Of course, it will be useful to see both of them. So let's do it like this. Hop, hop. Oh, do I have something running? So I guess, I mean, it's always confusing here, but I'll just ask it to do it like this. My local 88 is occupied. Let's make it run on 9080 and show me the command. And it's so nice and easy to do it. instead of me thinking about which part of the command I have to set up, just gives it to you, and it's now almost always works. It's like really good now. Yeah. Okay, now let's try to see. Forwarding. Okay, it works. Okay, so the only thing I need to do right now is I need to go to localhost 9080. Yeah. Let's proceed. And it's there. Yeah. So amazing how little time it takes to do everything to make it run. Let's even log in. I hope I save it somewhere. It works. Just insane. Okay, so but actually I want to expose it via ArgoCD.eu. I already set up the subdomain, but not propagated yet. That annoys me. Why is it so slow? I mean, it shouldn't take so much time, but sometimes it does. Okay, I think we are progressing too fast right now. I have to store the latest changes. You want to proceed? Yeah, sure. What do I have here? Okay, that doesn't make much sense. Just some pings. Yeah, that's not what I want. I mean, I want this one. It's not yet propagated. Oh, it is. All right. Okay, so it takes like half an hour, maybe something like that. But it's just crazy how quickly we can get something running. The ingress is live and it started. Okay, now keep in mind that when we shut down the cluster and start again, don't want to re-register. Let's encrypt each time. Can we persist the certificate? And I think it's already the case, but let's just confirm it. All right, so next I want to add one more thing. I'll just add the ArgoCD. Oh, it's also running. Wow, very nice. I would like to add the utility. I mean, in general, we can use ArgoCD also to check the logs and everything. I mean, it's working from the web UI. I'm just a bit old school and like to go into the server. I'm not sure if that's a more of a security issue or not, if we already have proper certificates and everything, but somehow it feels quicker, or more real time. So I would like to add the utility K9s to our Kubernetes servers. Do you know it? I mean, it should, but finally we'll do the restart test. I mean, we have everything you need now. We have the subdomains, we have ArgoCD. The Kubernetes stuff I don't need to expose, so it should be fine. So now let me just commit the whole state here. Tested Kubernetes, basically. Most likely we'll have to add more stuff later, but are we ready now to tear down the cluster and start it again? So current cluster doesn't have the persistent Kubernetes data there yet, so this rebuild will be a fresh start. All subsequent rebuilds will preserve state. Since the current cluster data is in your varlib rancher K3s, the Let's Encrypt will need to be reissued on this rebuild. After that, it will persist it. Wow, it can even do it for us. Okay, but before we do that, let's check if we can actually access ArgoCD, because that's yeah, that's important. Internal server error. Okay, so it's not as rosy as the AI thinks. I think we have a problem. Yeah, sure it is. I mean, I also didn't have it immediately up and running first time I did that, but it should be fixable. And also, yeah, I need to make it, I need to tell it that it's mandatory to use SSL. Let me see, because it should automatically redirect. So I had a huge issue this summer when I tried to do it to tell it to redirect. Yeah, I think it screwed up something here. Oh, let me see if it does that. Page not found. Okay, weird. But now that's the cool thing about cloud. It can log in directly into the cluster. I haven't used that before. And I could make it also work. I mean, in fact, one thing which I was thinking about is if they can share, we have agent teams that can share information between them. It would be amazing if one instance runs on the cluster itself to check things, and the other one, my development environment, to direct it, but maybe it's overkill. If this one can run commands directly in the cluster, it should be sufficient. It just runs them through SSH. But it definitely screwed up something because it's not redirecting correctly. And we should also tell it to make sure that, oh, okay. Not sure if that's, I think it didn't respond. It works. Oh yeah, it works. Yeah, it works. Now let me check if redirection works. I don't think it works. And for old school developers, it's so annoying that the address bar is getting so automated, but maybe I'm not up to date in that. I don't know. I still see the port 80. If I use HTTP, I mean, it should explain what you're seeing, you know. It shows me 404. And you should really separate certain pieces of information. Page found behavior I aim for is to redirect automatically from port 82. I call modern websites to. All right, let's see. I'm curious about this. Doesn't seem to work yet, though. Actually, why I'm doing that? I think you should be able to check that, and that's really very frequent problem. I forget that I just can tell it to do that. Why should I do that? Why does it tell me to do it? Because it has the capability itself, and it can run in a loop until it fixes it. And the only thing that we should be concerned in the end is to make sure that there are not weird things in the whole code. We can go through it at some point. We're just playing around and prototyping. The fact it works is sufficient. I mean, that's not random, you know, you cannot make it work just like randomly, or even trial and error is like a process that makes it correct in the end. I mean, what we have to be concerned is, of course, security problems, some fragility in the code, but this is declarative. I think this could be a good use case, or a very good use case for such tools, because what can you do wrong? That's exactly why it's declarative, and for even for humans, you just specify what you want and it does it for you. All right, so let's see now. I'm curious if you managed to fix this, or will have to work. Oh, it works now. Yeah. This is insane. Yeah, it was such a pain point. It just works. Of course, it's protected, so I can actually see if I remembered the password. And let me think I'll just remember it here. Yeah, and we're done. It works. Let me see what changed. I'll just mend it. Oh. Yeah, like I suspected, it's just more ingress config. Okay. So let me amend it and fix. Okay. Can probably even push, although nothing should happen here. Oh. I don't know. Here I need to fix. I need to check what happens here. Anyway, this is not important. What do we have now? Okay, it works now. Should we restart the cluster and run it again? Maybe I shouldn't tell. Okay, maybe I should do it myself, because that's something that I'll most likely do frequently. Oh, it already started. Auto-proof. Delete all your data. Oh man. Okay, I hope it knows what to do after the compaction. At least it will take some time for the cluster to boot up. Let us check what's going on. Okay, so I mean the server is running. Let me try to SSH. In fact, I want to SSH using the domain. Wipe out the IP. And I need to, I don't even know what operating system it uses. Let me see. Thought it should be loaded already. Oh, okay, I give up. I'll check it later. Oh, it's root. All right, okay, now I get it. Maybe it's not Ubuntu after all, or I don't remember if. Oh yeah, okay. So it's immediate. So it is. Yeah, okay. So they just expose root, or maybe this guy did it. I don't think they have. They offer root per SSH by default. Okay, so we have Kubernetes K9s, but it doesn't show me anything, which is strange. not something I expect. ArgoCD should be running. Yeah. Oh, what? Oh, that could be a problem. ArgoCD seems to have changed the password. Yeah, I'm not sure what ArgoCD is using as a backend. Maybe Kubernetes secrets or something. Yeah. And of course, it will be weird if just and it's updated, and I can update it here. Okay, so I can log in and everything. Will this password persist? Next restart. Or maybe should have asked if it would survive it, but yeah. Now let's see. Let me try this again. And I start. I don't see anything. Maybe it also saves some data somewhere about the namespaces, but who knows? I don't know. Oh yeah, that could be a problem. Oh yeah, that could be something I need to do actually. But that's also something that it should actually set up. We should do it with cloud-init, yeah. And let's get out. At least it works. Okay, so what else do we have? By the way, note I'm not even no. Oh, I'm committing directly. Sorry, I'm committing directly on the main branch, which is not great, but we're going for speed here. Afterwards, when we set up our application stuff, I think we'll put proper Git flow, but for now, we're just trying to build as fast as possible, which makes sense. Edit to write files, entry, data pens, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I want to restart manually, but how do I know when the system is completely up? Continuous status wait. Okay. Can you make me a script for that? Well, maybe, I mean, it's a single command. Maybe we should just. And this is a public repository. I'm not quite sure if. Before we actually push, I think we'll have to sanitize stuff a bit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So. Oh, yeah, please add a file that explains how to shut down and start again. How to provision the whole thing from a line Hetzner Cloud, and then how to shut it down and put out the cluster, including monitoring until it is finished. Yeah, up and running. So usually this infrastructure stuff, we don't deal with it that frequently. We have to document for sure. I mean, right, maybe nowadays you can just ask the AI to tell you how to do it, but let's be careful and record it. It's like the first thing you forget after you finish with this one-time setup. And yeah, it's a good thing to have it written. The only problem is that I need to create a .env file from which to read all this stuff. It looks it's not okay. All right, good. So let me check what the README contains. And I think I'll follow it. So, okay, then let's commit this. What do we have? Okay. All right, now we can shut down the cluster, which we know how to do. I mean, that's not a big deal. So tofu destroy. Yes. After that, okay, I'll just print it out again, but in general, it's just tofu apply. And we just need to run this command. And interesting, I mean, I don't even need the IP for that. We can just use the domain entry already, which is great. Changing VM size. And one thing which I'm curious about is creating like provisioning more VMs. Maybe we should test that one and stop with that. So tofu apply. Okay. Or maybe we don't even need to monitor anything because this command shows already. Yeah. How do I provision more VMs to my Kubernetes cluster while it is running? I'm not sure we have this option. It will be good to just make sure it works. And now here we can do. I'm not even sure we need this command. Somehow it's not. I don't know if it makes sense to wait. We'll see. Support adding worker nodes by joining them to the existing server. On each new VM, run the Kubernetes agent installer. Okay, well, before we do that, let's make sure actually can see what's going on. Yeah, this has been expected. Yeah, it will happen all the time, but it's not a big deal. Okay. So where are my namespaces? I don't see anything. One default. Maybe it just doesn't show me. Yeah. So it doesn't show me the system ones, but it's actually there. Okay, cool. It works. Our canine seems to be fetching. So yes, please implement this so I can test it. Yeah, I think even in this K9S, you can check, you can see different nodes. I had done this manually at some point. So, but it would be so cool to just verify it because it shouldn't be a big deal. Same state. Should worker nodes be managed in the same Terraform state as the server? Or a separate state? Yeah, of course, it should be in a separate state. Ephemeral like the server, no persist. Oh, well, first of all, the server is not ephemeral, I hope. But we can take care of that later. I have in mind, I mean, probably might not be needed, but for caching purposes, I might need more disk space. We'll see. So the idea would be to provision basically a separate small server for analysis, which is short-lived like worker. Although that could also work with maybe many workers can live on one server with different Kubernetes workers. We'll see. Let's not go so far. So I just want to test some very basic functionality. Now you can see, by the way, limited availability of cloud service in FSNMR. Hopefully they're doing some kind of extension or something. Oh yeah, probably they're building more resources, which would be nice. Okay. Terraform remote fuel. I mean, it should be fully automated. I just need to say boot up whatever worker, maybe even a smaller server, and they should join it. Just want to see that, and we're done with this recording. Yeah, but I'm really curious. I mean, that's a very central function, actually, to be able to provision automatically more nodes dynamically while the main node is running. I mean, that's what should be a basic Kubernetes functionality. I just didn't need that so far because I'm not using it for data processing. Yeah, I think. Oh, yeah, let's see. Very interesting. So far, it was working so well. Now somehow it's a problem with cloud-init. Apparently, I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously. Now let's see if it actually does that. I don't see a second server. Okay, so it decided to use a more efficient worker, I guess. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Great. Now I should be able to see the worker also here. Okay, yeah. Oh, I think What is the command for showing multiple nodes? Yeah, let me do that. Borrow CLI. All right. Is it nodeless? No, it's directly nodes. Okay, cool. So it seems to be working. Okay. Please update the README. With how to actually add and remove workers to running cluster node. And I'd like just to see that once and we're done. Okay, so let's just go into the workers. You know what? I'm gonna log in here. I'll just let it run. Okay, so let's see what happens now. Haven't checked, but most likely the number of nodes is also defined in this configuration file or variables. And here we should see it disappearing. Oh, is it? Yeah, it's no more in Hetzner. Maybe. Yeah, it's still there. Why? Doesn't remove nodes. Then how does it manage the resources when it doesn't exist? Yeah, I mean, I want this fully automated. And I tofu destroy worker. It should also update the Kubernetes cluster. So it knows worker is no more. Now that's exactly why we need to test. And sometimes it creates stuff for you quickly, but doesn't think everything through. And I hope, so let me do this cleanup that it mentioned. I have to delete it by hand, yeah, but then I probably have to restart everything, I think. Quite likely. Yeah, well, that's not very useful anyway. Unless the change is only in the worker, that would be cool. Because right now I'm getting impatient. Worker created. Okay, let me see if it gets registered. Oh, I hope I didn't delete it. Oh man, that's not good. At least it was not found. That's good. Okay, so now I should see this appearing somehow. Okay, it's provisioned. Perfect. But I don't see that yet. Okay. I think the first thing we're gonna do with the next recording is to simply test this. Yeah, I'm also not quite sure how quickly Kubernetes should actually. Oh, it's already saved. No, okay, so maybe we were just a bit premature. Okay, good. Now it tries to destroy it. Oh, it was updated immediately. Okay, that's very nice. That is nice. Okay. Yep. Perfect. That's very good. Okay, good. So I think this is a good point to finish. I'll keep probably this running. Maybe that's also another point. Do we have the repository nation selected? I mean, this is a very generic. That's not exactly what you should write. You should actually write more specific stuff. We have did we sufficiently document latest state of the repository in cloud-md? So I just want to save it as a context when we boot up. Oh, there is even not such a file, which we should have. It's the main memory. Yes, please. When I start a new session, I expect that you already know exactly what we developed and what our goal is. I'll let it plan for a while and it will, yeah. All right, so let's just record it. Okay, this is a bit annoying, but yeah. Oh, there is more. All right. So I think we achieved actually more than I thought we would do, because we have very little to do on the infrastructure side now. Next time we'll set up our code repos for the app, set up the CI/CD and so on, and we'll be ready to start actually developing. So happy coding, and until next time.